Good afternoon, everyone. So, how was your day? I hope you're doing great and fine. So, before I start my discussion, may I request Miss Eliza May De Leon to please lead the prayer. So, let us all stand.
So let's bow our head and feel the presence of the Lord.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
O Jesus, through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, I offer you all my prayers, works, joys, and sufferings of this day, in the union with the holy sacrifice of the Mass throughout the world, in reparation for my sins, and for the intention of the Sacred Heart. I wish to name all my indulgences attached to my prayers and good works of this day.
Okay, so you may now sit down. Thank you, Miss Eliza. So, before I start my discussion, please let me introduce myself first. I am Roselyn De Leon, a third-year college student, taking Bachelor's of Arts and Science major in English. And maybe you might be wondering rather why I am having this kind of teaching session. So we have this subject, English language teaching, and one of our final grade requirements is to have this microteaching. So I am looking forward for your cooperation and participation. So let us move on to our topic, which is expressing sample or simple questions. So when we make conversation, especially with someone we're talking with, we used to ask questions. So why? So this is to prevent having dead air. So dead air in a conversation is a long silence. So this happens when you have nothing to say with the person you're talking with. So asking questions is very essential so that you can continue and to have you. So you have to have an effective communication with that person. And there are questions that are made to be answered by just a yes or no answer. But see to it that your main verb, specifically the forms of be, should be placed before the subject. So let us all together examine these examples. First, are you aware of the barangay's zero waste program? So this question is either asked to someone or to a group of people. So if it is question is asked to someone, the possible answers would be yes I am or no I'm not. But if it is asked to a group of people like now, the possible answers would be yes we are or no we're not. Second, is the program one of the workable solutions for the garbage problem rather in Metro Manila? So as you can notice, the question start with is. So the possible answers rather would be yes it is or no it isn't. So third, were the previous programs for the waste disposal ineffective? Um, just like the previous questions, it starts with were. So the possible answers would be yes they were or no they weren't. So is that you have any clarifications or questions about this yes or no yes or no simple questions answer?
Nothing.
Okay, so thank you. Let us move on to this negative statement. So if there are questions that are made to be answered by just a yes or no answer, there are questions that are only made to be answered by negative statement or negative response. So the examples of this is the is not or isn't, were not or weren't, did not or didn't. So those are negative statement. So in these examples, if this will show you that in making negative statement and question tags, we used to follow not rules but structures. In these two examples, this will show you that if your statement is positive, we need to use a negative question tag. For example, she's a doctor. So this statement is positive. So we use the negative question tag, isn't she? Second, yesterday was so much fun. So was is a positive statement. So we use a negative question tag here, wasn't it? And for this next two examples, this is a contradict to these two examples that we had, because in here the statement is positive, but in this next two examples the statement is negative. So we use here a positive question tag. For example, he isn't here. Is he? So the negative statement here is isn't, and the positive question tag here is he? Second, the trains are never on time. Are they? So here, the negative statement is are never, and the positive question tag used is are they. So is that clear?
Yes.
So may I request Miss Maricel Libudan to please help me remove this so that I can post the other visual aid. Thank you. Okay, so could you please put tape on that one? Thank you. So it's here. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the other example is nobody has called for me, have they? So the negative statement here is nobody. So we use a positive question tag, which is have they. And next is formation. So if there is an auxiliary verb in the statement, we use it to form the question tag. Like Miss Maricar, would you please read the following example?
I don't need to finish this day. Ano naman? Do I? James is working on that, isn't he? Your parents have retired, haven't they? Your phone didn't ring, did it? It was raining that day, wasn't it? Your mom hadn't met him before, had she?
Okay, thank you. You may now sit down. Okay, so as you can see, there are negative response here, which is abbreviated, and some are expanded. Like I don't, do I, is became isn't, have became haven't, didn't became did, was became wasn't, and hadn't became had. So in this next example, Sometimes there is no auxiliary verb already in the statement. For example, when the verb in the statement is present simple or past simple and is positive, here we use don't, doesn't, or didn't. For example, Jenny eats cheese, doesn't she? I said that already, didn't I? So these two examples are both past simple sentences. So, and it has positive statement. So we used to need we need to use rather a negative question tag, which is doesn't she and didn't I. And next, the bus stops over there, isn't it? None of those customers were happy, were they? So in this case, we use to be to make the question tag. Next, they could hear me, couldn't they? You won't tell anyone, will you? So in here, we use the modal verb to make the question tag. And for the last, I'm never on time. Am I? Second, I'm going to get an email with the details. Aren't I? So in here, if the main verb or auxiliary verb in the statement is am, the positive question tag is am I. But the negative question tag is usually aren't I. So this is perfect for the last example. And that's all for my discussion. And I hope you learned something from my discussion today. And to confirm that, I have here two activities rather, the learning activity and enrichment activity. So in here, um, please get one sheet of yellow paper because you will be needing it. And let me read the directions for you. You need to write an essay about the importance of expressing simple questions to your everyday life. And your essay must have an introduction, supporting detail, or body, and a conclusion. So this will be graded um, uh, a 40 points. And I'll give you time allotment of 10 minutes to finish it. Okay? So you may now start. Last 4 minutes. Last 2 minutes. Okay, time's up. Please pass your paper now. Okay, thank you. So for our last activity, I have here what we call enrichment activity. So the, the direction here is transcode each of the statements below into simple or yes or no question. Give appropriate short answer for each rather. So you can just simply put your answer below the numbers. So I'll give you 5 minutes. to finish this and pass it to me whenever you're finished, okay? So your time starts now. Last 3 minutes. Last 1 minute. please pass your paper. Okay, so thank you for your cooperation and participation. Class dismissed and goodbye.